I mean, in fact, that's a big part of the book of Mark. Jesus constantly looking at these guys who he's invited to follow him that said yes to following him. And he's saying, hey, do you understand yet? Like, do you believe yet? And every time these people that are following him go, yeah, we got it. But we're reading the story and we know, nope, they don't got it. There's so much they don't know. Like, Peter doesn't have categories for the Trinity yet. He doesn't even understand the death and resurrection of Jesus for the forgiveness of sins. He's still got bad habits. He's still got big questions. And Jesus says, great. That's what following me is all about. Listening to me, learning from me, spending time with me, imitating me. And here's my promise over time. I can take what you're made of and from that form what you're made for. And all I'm asking is for you to trust me with the next step from where you are, whatever that looks like. And Peter and Andrew and James and John said, I'm all in for that. And that's really beautiful, isn't it? Because it means that everyone can get in on this. All of us. In fact, we'll talk a little about that next week, but everybody can get in on this. Everyone can say yes to that invitation from wherever they are, whatever that looks like. Think of it for Peter. Peter says, with everything I know, everything I have, everything I've seen up to this point, first part of the story, I'm all in with my boat. And then from there, I'm all in with my nets and my reputation in front of this big crowd of people. And then ultimately, I'm all in with my life. But think, the next day, he got to accept the invitation again from a totally different location. As a totally different person. He'd learned some stuff since yesterday. He'd grown in some ways since yesterday. He'd seen some stuff from yesterday. He wasn't the same person as he was yesterday. And so the next morning, he woke up with an invitation and a decision from a slightly different location. And what you see over the lives of these men and others that Jesus invited is that every single morning was a brand new invitation to examine who Jesus is, to listen to his promises, to see where he's going and what he's done, to see what he's continuing to do, and confidently and desperately taking a step towards him from wherever you're starting from here. That's why we ask the question at the end of every community group. If I believe this was true, what step would I take from here? And then we encourage and challenge each other to take the step. Even if we got to co-opt somebody else's confidence for a period of time, we take our confidence that we borrow from there and add to our desperation, and we take the step from wherever we are. It's an invitation for every single one of us, whatever our starting place is. And really, wherever you find yourself. I think you find yourself in this story. Because if this story sets the tone for what it really looks like to follow Jesus, it indicates that following Jesus can happen on a continuum, doesn't it? It did for Peter and Andrew and James and John. It has for me. I bet it does for you too. Some of you have come to this moment this morning, you find yourself in the uninformed category. Maybe you've heard about Jesus from comb-overs on TV or from church people in your life, but you don't know enough about Jesus to make a decision about following him. The question that you've got from here in the uninformed category is Jesus worth investigating any further? And you could say no, but you don't seem like a closed-minded person to me. What if you just investigated? In fact, sometime this week, open up the Bible again, read through Mark, or go to John. John is John's eyewitness account of what he heard from Jesus and saw with Jesus and what he came to believe in Jesus and wants to show to you. What if you investigated a little further? Some of you have investigated, and you come today not uninformed, but you come interested. But you're asking the question, is it worth it to follow Jesus? And maybe the next step for you is a step similar to what the step was for Peter and Andrew, even if it feels like a small step this week, the equivalent of letting Jesus stand in your boat for a minute. What if you took it? What if you watched and listened, saw what happened? Maybe follow a risk that doesn't even feel like a big risk yet. Some of us, honestly, have done that. And we've done that multiple times. And we come to this morning ready. Like there are questions we don't know the answers to. There are things we're not even totally sure, like details that we're not even sure we believe yet. But like the 4 guys we read about today, you've got confidence enough and desperation enough to say, with what I've got, where I am, I'm all in from here.